Please welcome to the stage Sophia Randhawa and Behnam Rezai.
Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Sophia. I lead developer monetization and payments at Roblox.
I'm Behnam Rezai, and I lead engineering for discovery and ads.
First of all, I would like to congratulate everyone on the DevX increase. It feels like a promotion, right?
Woo! 8.5. Yes.
So, any questions about that, do stop by the Earning on Roblox booth. Today, we are going to talk about how to grow monetization without sacrificing engagement. We have some exciting launch announcements for you. We also have two of our master monetizers who are going to talk to us about some of their secrets. At the end, we'll also have time for audience questions. So with that, let's dive right in.
Before we get into the details of the new features and updates that we have, we wanted to highlight a few takeaways. First of all, it's very important that you learn about all of the different monetization tools that we have built for you at Roblox. Learn about how to use them and when to use them. We'll cover some of this in the next few slides. Secondly, this is very important for building and monetizing on Roblox. Finding a strategy for each of them to make sure it works with engagement, not against each other. To the extent that the third one, if you do it right, monetization can actually increase engagement, increase retention. This is the dark secret of Roblox. But before we go and cover different ones, we wanted to give you an overall high-level view. You start your game, you're focused on building the best game on Roblox, you don't need to do anything. By default, you're set up to benefit from Creator Rewards program. Then you start growing your audience. It is time to introduce developer products and in-game passes. This is the best way to give additional benefits with extra value for users who want to pay. Today, we'll talk about this a little bit more. We can actually make money by in-game advertising. Now you have monetized your audience, and your audience is growing. This is the time that you have actually built that fan base, that your game is part of their daily routine. Now you can create predictable monetization outcome by introducing subscription with experiences. Next level, you have, like some of the devs that we'll talk about today, you have actually built a fandom on Roblox. You have actually become a big IP on Roblox. Now it is time to introduce real-world merch that your fans can actually take their beloved brands to the outside world. This is the time that you can actually win the war. Now, to talk about some of these products, I'll hand it back to Sophia.
Thank you. We believe effective monetization is personalized monetization. The monetization that works as the one that caters to the right user at the right time. So over here, we have examples for projects for new players, casuals, and high spenders. For new players, starter pack, you probably are all familiar with this, an easy-to-get item at a relatively low price. For casuals, Legends upgrade, as we refer to it, essentially an interesting item that deepens their engagement with the experience. And for the high spenders, relatively expensive, potentially exclusive, and highly limited time offer. We've seen these tips and tricks work well. Let's dive into the anatomy of an in-experience item. The item has an image, a title, a description, and a price. Roblox has now developed content understanding systems. Using vision language models, we can see the item, we can read the title and description, and using this information, algorithms rank the items and recommend those in a personalized manner to different users. So users which we detect are relatively new to the experience are shown starter packs, whereas maybe casual to high spenders are shown items that they are more likely to be interested in. The reason I'm calling this out here is to ask all of you to pay a lot of attention to the title and the description of the items that you make. Now on to the price. Price for developers, we think is generally a guessing game because it is so unique to your experience and to your users. This is where Roblox has been investing in. Last year, we launched in 2024, we launched price optimization. Price optimization is a data-driven way, an experimentation-based approach to discover the right price for the item. And when we do this being very mindful of the engagement. So the right prices that we recommend are the ones that come at no engagement loss to the experience. Earlier this year, we launched regional pricing for our users. Regional pricing, we've mentioned it a few times now, is essentially taking the global price of an item and localizing it for different markets. And we do all this without needing any work from the developers. It's a very turnkey feature. To tie it back to our topic of the day, regional pricing has not only driven increased monetization outcomes for our experiences, it has also resulted in increased engagement. Over 5,000 experiences have adopted regional pricing, and we're very excited to announce here today that regional pricing for Gov projects will also be launching soon. However, we don't stop here. Next year, we'll be launching a project we're calling managed pricing. Managed pricing takes the best of price optimization and regional pricing and presents it as one continuous optimization project, having all the automation that these two projects do. We'll discover the optimal price for the experiences, keeping all the constraints that experiences would like today, automatically regionalize, continue experimenting into those regional prices, adapting to foreign currency fluctuations whenever needed. And this is very important. You're going to hear about this in the next session as well. Our discovery algorithms also pay attention to the monetization efficiency of an experience. With pricing improvements, price optimization, and regional pricing, you don't have to add more monetization to your experience. It's your existing monetization that can work harder for you. And that results in increase in Robux spent, which then drives some of increased discovery on our homepage. So this is how we think we can help you boost discovery, again, without needing any work from the experienced developers themselves. All of this would be available, as it always is, with all the analytics and all the opt-in and opt-out capabilities. For yet another new launch, handing it back to Benham.
My mind works simple. What I just heard was regional pricing, managed pricing is incremental revenue, but also increases retention, increases discovery. And some of you asked us in the discovery booth about this. This is your answer. But how many of you here have many of users in the game that they don't pay? Do you mind raising your hand? You're not alone. For majority of games, 80% plus of users are non-payers. That's why earlier this year, we introduced rewarded video ads. It's the standard ad format in the gaming industry. It's a win-win-win for user, for brand, and for creator. Why? Because we give users the choice to choose to engage with the ad. We don't force it on them. We give full transparency and full control to you to decide how and when to use it. And of course, brands decide which experiences do they show up on. As you can see, it's basically the user chooses to see the ad. They actually see a 30-day video, and then they get an in-game benefit as a result. Now, as we discussed with many of these products, it actually increases payer conversion. It makes sense because a lot of these people, they have never used benefits of your game. This gives them a way to try it. It also can increase retention because these users actually are now engaged with the game more. And we are very excited, like many of these products, this is actually becomes generally available within a few weeks. So look forward to you folks trying it and giving us feedback. Some of the top devs in this room are already trying it. We will hear from Zach later today. But what is very important with all of these products is how to use it. That makes all the difference. We wanted to share 4 important things about this product. First of all, like any of our products, you get full benefit when it is in high traffic areas. Some examples of lobby or your shop, these are examples that users will get to see this product. The second thing is, As much as we have tried to make this product not to be disruptive to the game, it's still a 30 seconds video. You want to make sure that it doesn't feel spammy. It's part of your gameplay. A good example is change of the level in an obby or change of the level in a tower defense game. Thirdly, like any of our products, you want to make sure the users actually get to learn about it. Prompts, different ways to educate them. And last but not the least, you want to make sure you give meaningful benefits to it. This is very, very critical because this is the reason why they choose to see that, and also doing it right gives them a taste of your value-added things that you have in the product. And don't forget, you want to be compliant because you want to make sure brands actually want to come to your platform. Now, when we do all of this right, you also have full control. You can actually set up what type of ads that you get. And of course, like all of our products, you get to see this additional incremental revenue next to other source of revenue that you have in the dashboard, see all the stats, and allow you to iterate on it. In the next few months, we'll also add more features so that you can have visibility into different types of stats here. Now, with that, I'll hand it back to Sophia to talk about another product.
And you see right there, in 2026, we will launch developer subscriptions in Roblox. So yes. Thank you. We heard your feedback. In addition to the local currency, developer subscriptions will now be available in 2026 in Roblox at any amount of pricing. In addition to that, we'll also launch an ability for subscribers, for developers to be able to notify the subscribers when a subscriber-only benefit is available to them. That's the screen in the middle where there's a message that's going out to the subscriber to come and claim their benefit. Coming back to the pricing of the subscription, we'll launch an ability to do promotional pricing for new subscribers. And as with everything else, these prices will be regionalized as well. For any questions on everything we talked about, please do stop by the Earnings on Roblox booth and the Discovery and Ads booth. And with this, we'll now welcome our master monetizers, Zach and Jesse.
No worries.
Hello.
Hi.
Vishwa. We didn't practice this one.
If you could introduce yourselves, and as you're doing that, please also share what did you find exciting, if anything, in the session today. Start with you, Zach.
Yeah, my name is Zach Letter. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Wonderworks Studios. Our most recent claim to fame was we licensed SpongeBob and made SpongeBob Tower Defense. I think something I'm really excited about is dev product subscriptions with the promotional pricing for new subscribers. I think that's really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're on TikTok, you might be familiar with the words Jesse here. I'm part of the team that's made Adopt Me a success over the last 8 years. We just celebrated another birthday.
Woo! 8 years.
Our team are here. They're loving it. Adopt Me is a global game, so I think there's a lot of excitement around the regional pricing and managed pricing. I'll have a lot more questions for you after this session about that.
Anytime, and we don't get to say this often, but it's all this excitement. That's like the feedback loop for us here at Roblox that keeps us innovating and keeps us investing. So thank you for sharing that. Going into our next question, you heard the theme today. Maybe, Jesse, I'll ask you, how do you optimize for different type of players in your experience? Is that something you pay attention to?
Yeah, absolutely. If any of you were here for the experimentation and the A/B testing panel, you'll have seen a lot of work went into our starter pack, optimizing that to be as good as it can be. New users are so vital to the success of Adopt Me. A new user monetizing quickly is a new user who is sticky, who is engaged, and who is going to continue to play your game for a long time. So having an offering early on, time limited, that is, I think our starter pack is one of the best value things in the game. So new users, heavily important for us. Then we also have our kind of casual users. We go for a very broad monetization and engagement strategy. We don't do too much of chasing what you would traditionally call whales, people who heavily invest and spend thousands, tens of thousands. We very much look for easy to understand templatized monetization. So players can plan their spending, and no matter what we do in the game, whether it's a new standalone pet, a battle pass, or a 4-week event, players know what's coming and can plan for that. So Halloween's coming up. Yeah. So week 1 of Halloween, players don't know what that pet is going to be yet, but they know there will be a legendary pet that will cost them 1,000 Robux, and they can be planning that spend already. When it comes to high value or engaged users, what we look to do is things like value ads. So for us, it's a fly or ride potion for the pet, monetizes really well. They've already spent that 1,000 Robux on their legendary pet, but now they can use it to get around Adoption Island even faster and optimize their gameplay.
Hope you were taking notes. Many good nuggets in there.
Zach, maybe we can switch to you.
Yeah.
You're the data viz of developers. You're into the data. And earlier this year, you decided to give it a try with the rewarded video. What led you to try it?
Yeah, I mean, like you guys said in your presentation, 8 out of 10 users most likely aren't spending in your experience. And what we were really curious about is what kind of return could we see with rewarded video ads on those 8 of 10 users, and how we could incentivize them without cannibalizing our spenders. So the first thing we tried was a good progressive pack. Who doesn't love one, especially when it's free to progress with ads? So what we took was high value soft currency that you could still earn for free in the experience, but might have been more of a grind. And we made that tiers of rewards throughout the first 9. And at the end, in SpongeBob Tower Defense, we're a very cosmetic and trade economy driven game. We would do a cosmetic mount. Once you watch 10 ads, you unlock the cosmetic mount. That's also tradable and has like this perceived value. Another thing we started exploring was when you reach certain ad watch milestones, we're even going to consider giving you dev products and game passes that we might consider, I guess, not as relevant to our experience anymore. As an experience gets older, especially in an experience as heavily monetized as ours, we introduce new game passes that kind of trump the previous version. So in our experience, we have game speed. 1 and 2x are free, 3, 5, and now 7x. Not trying to be a Bond villain here. The 3, 5, and 7x are paid products, but as the game's gotten older, 3x isn't as desired by our paid users anymore, and the sales have dropped. So what we're allowing our free-to-play users to do is to earn 3x and 5x for free by engaging with our ad platform, since we're not really consuming or cannibalizing our spenders.
You found ad whales.
Yes.
So one of the questions we get a lot is that how does ad impact engagement? What has been your experience so far?
I mean, like Jesse kind of said, a monetized user is a sticky user. And that's mostly because they've invested in your experience and they have a perceived value of your digital good, and it's harder for them to want to leave your experience behind. So with the ad platform, we kind of allow a free-to-play player to become as sticky as a paid user because they're getting access to limited cosmetics and things like that through the ad program that hopefully drives that same psychology behind the value they feel their inventory has and how much they really want to stick around in your experience.
Then I have a bunch of things for...
Yeah, I'm going to cut in. I have a question for you. So I was on a panel last year with Andrew from Voldex.
Yes.
And we talked about ads, and he said one of the things they really struggled with was ad fill. Are you still, it's a year later, it's more mature, are you still finding that a problem? We don't use ads, I want to know the answer.
Honestly, no, and I would know about it. We have a Discord with 200,000 people that I think would be screaming at us because they can't get the limited amount of the week. So ultimately, the fill's been great. Roblox has a sales team, plus they back channel with Google Ads, and I mean, it's ultimately been a non-issue for us, and we're getting perfect fill, so.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sophia.
Yeah.
90-something percentage fill.
Yes.
Up from a lot, let's just say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a better pitch than what I've heard you say all day.
Could we have said 90? But it's a lot. Okay.
All right, Jesse, I know you don't have ads, but the same question for you on how's the feedback on monetization from users? You think monetization alienates users?
No, not at all. Often there are players, especially players without much time, that want to be monetized. We take feedback at Adopt Me incredibly seriously, and we approach it in a kind of 3-pronged way to get a complete picture. So we start with the data. Are the products selling? Are people buying these? What are our high-value products? What are the things players are excited by? But that's just one part of the picture. That will tell you what's performing well. It won't necessarily tell you why. So to that, we look at broad-scale social sentiment. We take it, part of my job is to just absorb everything players are saying about our game, and especially about our monetization. Are they excited about the products, especially when it's a new line that we're really excited by? We brought back the Bat Dragon a few years ago, and making sure that players are still excited by new variants on that year on year. So we look to the broad social sentiment, but then we also take it to a one-to-one place to understand that. So I'll start conversations in our community Discord, but we also have a kind of Discord for our what we might call engagement whales. So players who've been with us for years, who spend 20, 30, 40 hours a week sometimes playing Adopt Me. And we'll dig in one-to-one to really understand what they feel about products, how they feel about our monetization, and sometimes we'll even share things in advance with them so that we can get that feedback before another player even sees it.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't think you would hear about engagement whales in a monetization session, did you? We are taking that. So, Zach, talking about data, we know from our data that SpongeBob Tower Defense does really well for average revenue per user. Open for sharing some secrets?
Yeah, I mean, so we don't shy away from monetizing our experience. I know it can be taboo. I remember the first YouTube video that was made by Bemi Blocks, a tower defense YouTuber. He was like, this is the most predatory over monetized experience I've ever seen in my life. And our approach was really, well, you want to give people options, but still provide a free-to-play experience. And that video came out about day 2 or 3 of the experience being released, and then we had a bunch of people go to the comments and be like, no, wait, this experience is actually extremely free to play, but it's pay to speed. And like that's how we really approach all of our monetization design, but we go a little bit more sophisticated. We've built our own third-party website where we track a bunch of data and how users are spending and what their behavior is with like which Game Pass they purchase first or dev product and what order the typical whale makes those purchases, so we can service custom bundles to our users. I definitely love the starter pack and what we call elite bundles. That approach, like starter bundles, we'll typically have a really low entry offer. Maybe it's 25 Robux, 99, just to get you in and involved in that loop. And then at certain points, if you purchase previous starter bundles, we scale those a bit. And we have 6 different starter bundles in SpongeBob that could be serviced to you. And then when you hit a certain threshold, you start seeing elite bundles serviced to you as a user, and then private offers.
Love the data orientation from both of you on user feedback data, revenue analytics, and just the focus of starting with that. Before we turn to audience questions, I have one last question for both of you. I'll start with you. Jesse, one piece of advice for someone who's starting out on monetization.
Yeah, I just want to hit the theme of this talk, really, which is monetization is engagement. So don't get overexcited about heavy monetization. I think it can be tempting sometimes to think, I'm going to price this thing's going to be amazing, it's going to be the best product, I'm going to make it cost 10,000 Robux, and I can't wait until one person buys this. But even on small scales, even starting out, 10 users spending 100 Robux is better for your game's long term, it's better for discovery than one user spending 1,000 Robux. So really focus on that initial offering, getting players from new user to monetization as fast as possible, and watch your game grow with that.
Yeah, and my advice would be don't shy away from monetizing your experience. It's always harder to do it retroactively where it's like, okay, I'm going to release this. It's going to be extremely free to play. We'll make a couple of offers once we build that traction and that engagement. Oftentimes, the users will reject that and they'll be like, oh, they're going pay to win. Here it goes. Like there goes the free to play model. So have that in early because one, you never know when you can convert on somebody. Someone like me might convert session 1 and end up being a paying user for you. But if you didn't have that monetization, you wouldn't see that conversion. So don't be afraid to monetize. But like Jesse said, tread lightly. $100 dev product or something like that might be a turnoff to a brand new player just getting into your loop. So.
Thank you so much for that. Any audience questions? We have mic stands.
Yeah, maybe we open it up to your questions, folks. There are mics here, so feel free to come forward and ask your questions.
Hey guys, thanks for the panel. My question is, how do you guys optimize for like making sure that you're putting the right product in front of the right player at like the right time? I feel like that's like the hardest combination for us to figure out as developers. Like we have a lot of products, but I often wonder like if I am doing the right practices in order to make sure that those guys see the things that we're offering for sale, like when they're ready to make that purchase.
This is your bread and butter. You do this one.
I mean, We get very creative with how we service offers after we get that first purchase, and it really just depends on what that first purchase qualified for and what offer it'll trigger. For us, though, I think what's best is really try to figure out how to get that user to commit to that first purchase. That's like the most important, but avoiding the pop-up spam of like, here's a starter offer, you just finished your first game, here's 3 other offers, which one do you want to take? I mean, ultimately, you do not have to sell so hard. Make a quality experience that people do want to invest their time and money into. For us, with SpongeBob Tower Defense, the easy gateway to get that first conversion was 1x was the basic speed of the tower defense experience. If you joined our group, we gave you 2x for free, and that was just that little bit of taste of speed and how much faster you could progress that really started to convert a $5 dev product in 3x speed for us and then allow us to introduce other iterations. So I think it really is about trying to monetize your core loop in ways you could improve that experience for users without also gatekeeping basic features like movement and movement speed and things like that that might actually feel like friction to your experience.
Awesome, thank you.
Of course.
Hello, I had a question. So what factors do you consider when pricing a dev product or a Game Pass?
Sure. The first thing for us is kind of what we talked about, which is accessibility. Adopt Me is really interested in broad monetization, in allowing players who have Robux to spend it in our game. A lot for us as well. We are a long-term engagement game. So for those not familiar, you can't just, it's not just buying pets in Adopt Me, but you can trade them with other players. So for us as well, we're not just considering what value will a player purchase this for, but what value are we setting this up for in the future by constricting supply through monetization, through pricing. We can actually create a stronger offer for players because they'll know that once this is out of the game, maybe only 30,000 people bought this one, so this is going to be really valuable for me 6 months down the line. Whereas we'll then compare that with like lower priced offerings that allow people who want to spend some Robux to get something that might be long term less valuable, but is still more valuable than our free to play currency pets.
Okay, thank you.
So I was wondering about e-commerce items, actually. I don't know if you use them in your game, but I was wondering if you use them, like how have players reacted to them and like how has it affected your monetization? And also for the Roblox side, if there's plans to expand it to more countries.
Do you do any e-commerce stuff? I can talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, you can talk. We do a little bit of it, but yeah.
Yeah, so we haven't used any of the Roblox tools yet. We are investigating those. We're very interested in those. We have done some things in the past. So we work with Jazzwares, who's our kind of toy and license partner. We did a pet in the game. We did an aviator kiwi, so it's a little kiwi bird with a scarf and a hat and some goggles. We put this in the game, but with a specific offer of an advert in the game that you can now go and pre-order this pet as a real-life plush, and in 3 months it will turn up. I, as a community manager, someone who really cares a lot about what our players think, was absolutely terrified of this. I had no idea what they would do. But we found it's actually really exciting for players to see the game they play come to life through merchandise, through the e-commerce. And players have wanted more of that from us. So yeah, we're really excited about it.
On the commerce strategy, there are 3 portions to it. How can we help you make the merch easier? How can we help you create that seamless kind of flow of purchase in Roblox, on Roblox? And the third one is all the kind of e-commerce as a turnkey solution, shipping, then returns and all of that. We are working on all 3. I think we have a little bit of a kind of way for us to get to where we want to go. And as you mentioned, one of the challenges for e-commerce would be international as its own thing. So we are actively working on it. Hopefully by the next RDC, you'll hear some good news from us.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Leith, and when developing a new game, I was curious how involved how involved are you in monetization from the beginning, or at what point and stage is that something you focus heavily on?
I guess I can go first here. Like, as a studio, we really think about, what is the opportunity versus the opportunity cost? So like when we enter like a genre, it's really like, okay, how does this monetize? What do we believe the average revenue per paying user looks like? Like in a more hyper casual genre that Steel Brainrot has created, the ARPU might be $2. But in like a tower defense game with deeper mechanics, it could be closer to 20. So for us, it's like, okay, how many users do we feel like we can obtain? How can we monetize them? What's the average revenue per paying user? And so to answer your question, we're really thinking about it from the very beginning before we greenlight a project and what is the amount of monetization we can do and what strategy should we approach. Like with Brainrot, if you start selling exclusive units, it might hurt your overall game's longevity and engagement. But with tower defense, if you sell it, it actually adds perceived value to the trading economy because we have trading in our tower defense game, and it allows the users to assign a value to that, driving prices up and everything like that. So.
Yeah, I'll echo Zach. Obviously, we develop Adopt.Me. That's what we do. We don't, we don't look at other games. We've been focused on supporting that for 8 years, but we update every Friday, 52 weeks a year, and monetization is a part of that. Sometimes it is, not just about how we continue to sustain a 60-person studio, which is kind of terrifying when I think about it, but also, how we take users on that monetization journey. You don't want to get the reputation that like you're money hungry. Everything's 1,000 Robux per. Every week's a new thing. So we're still, at the 6 weeks before launch, when we're thinking about that new update, we are thinking about our monetization for it, how it's going to be perceived by the players, and then week to week, how is that going to trend across events, across content updates, across new features. So even though we don't make more than one game, we're still thinking about it at the start of every design process.
Right, and I guess follow up to that would be, when a game is initially released, would you say it is best to be fully monetized or to essentially rapidly iterate on top of that?
I definitely lean into monetizing every mechanic we intend to throughout the game's life cycle at the beginning. So it never seems like we're taking something from the free player. So like, let's say speeds 1 through 7 were available for free and we decide to introduce 10 at like a premium. It feels like we've taken something away even though we're adding a product to the experience. So like, I prefer to monetize each mechanic individually that we intend to right off the start.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
One thing that we hear a lot from both Jesse and Zach and also other top devs is these 2 points that really monetization is part of the gameplay. You need to think about it together. The other one is, one of the big things is to always think about refreshing your content, and refreshing monetization is the same as that. You're basically refreshing both the game and your monetization thinking.
Yeah, with the trade economy, you have perceived value. With the game passes, you have a fixed value. So it's like it allows players to, one, perceive a value of a digital good, but we can also set fixed values to like a game pass, and players know if they can work towards that or something. They understand that's worth $10, so it's worth $5. So.
We've time for 2 more questions. We'll take one from here and then one from here.
Oh, it's fine. Perfect. They have to.
This is a bit more of a technical one. I really love the work you guys have done with optimizing pricing for game passes, and I'm looking forward to try out the dev products side of that. However, one thing about dev products is because typically when integrating them, there's a little bit more kind of, they're not individual products. Like I may have the simplest example is like a set of coin packs. So I have one coin pack and then a larger coin pack and then like the biggest coin pack for big spenders. And one thing I'm a little concerned about with price optimization is whatever algorithm is running on that may not really understand the relationship between, hey, this coin pack is 100 coins, but this one's 100,000, and because of that, this one should always be lower than that one. So will there be a little bit more control over kind of the relationship between those dev products when optimizing?
So love so much about that question. One, look at the Dev Forum post that has recently gone out. It's on item level price optimization. So instead of doing a blanket price optimization over all projects, we are aware of different items, and we are able to change or guess their prices differently. That should help with this a little bit. However, what you're speaking to is how different items are connected together and how changing price of one can change the price of another. That is a top priority on our minds. We want to be more aware of how the economies work, and then to be able to really optimize them, simulate them, and do this as a service available to the developers. So this is something we are working towards, but even the projects we have today should take you 80% of the way there.
I see. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Oh, we lost this one. think we're good.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Jesse and
guys.
Zach,
Yeah,
for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Jesse here.